So welcome to Panchvaktra.
Пожалуйста, в Панчвакра Шиву.
Yeah, what happened?
Why did they skip Madan Gopal?
Prabhu said we can go. We can go after. We'll go.
Мы можем туда зайти после. Пойдем.
So very ancient tree here. You can see this tree been here a very
Такое
long time.
большое дерево, оно тут много лет уже растет.
Banyan tree.
Посмотрите, тут огромный баньян.
The Lord Shiva usually likes to reside in these kind of
Shiva
places.
Любит жить обычно в таких местах.
Kavichandra Swami is going to speak to us.
И Кавичандра с вами нам сейчас расскажет немножко
Nimbarka, right?
о Нимбарке, да?
Nimbarka Sampradaya,
Нимбарка Сампрадая,
coming from the fourth Kumara.
которая исходит от
Nimbarkas, they also worship Radha and Krishna.
поклонялся тоже Радхе и Кришне.
The other Sampradayas,
Это
they
другая
don't,
Сампрадая.
but Nimbarka, they
А другие Сампрадаи так
worship
не
Radha and
делают,
Krishna, they respect the gopis.
но эта Сампрадая поклоняется
So there's a pastime took
Кришне
place
Гопи.
here in this
И вот
place.
в этом месте проходили
Кавичандра
игры.
Swami is going to
Кавичандра
tell
с
us.
вами, Махарадж нам сейчас расскажет.
Right, Maharaj?
Yeah. Ma Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale.
Maharaj was explaining about how Nimbaka Acharya line came about. Initially there was a person called Nimbaditya, and he was residing here in this Navadvip. And so it happened that the four Kumaras appeared to him and gave him that knowledge, and gave him that what is called the Ayugala mantra, and they taught him how to do his bhajan in the mood of bhavana, bhavamar. That bhava, that mood of ecstasy, loving ecstasy in the service of Radha and Krishna. So Nimbaditya did such intense bhajan that the Supreme Lord appeared to him. And Lord Gauranga told him that we were very fortunate to do bhajan here in this Navadvip Dham. He said, in the future, the Lord said, I will come in my merciful form. Oh, it was Radha and Krishna appeared to him. He got darshan of Radha and Krishna. And then he was told that in the future, Radha and Krishna would combine together and become one. And at that time, the Lord would manifest his pastimes in Navadvip. And Nimbaditya was told, you will also come. And together, we will have pastimes of scholarship. So Nimbaditya, he came as Keshav Kashmiri. He would appear first of all up in Kashmir, and he would be a great pundit, and in the course of his travelling and debating with people, he would come to Navadvip Dham. So Keshav Kashmiri, the Digvijay, he was a great conqueror of people in debating. So he came here to Navadvip Dham, and he confronted Lord Chaitanya. At that time Lord Chaitanya was Nimai Pandit. He was a teenage boy. He was having his own school. He was teaching logic or nyaya. And he had many students. So when news came to Navadvip that Keshava Kashmiri is coming, all the other pandits were all afraid. They all said, oh, I have to go back to my village. Because they knew if they had to confront Keshav Kashmiri and if they had to debate with him, then it would be very embarrassing for them to be defeated. Then they wouldn't be able to get students anymore. And so all the other pandits, they all closed their school and said, I'll come back after some time, just wait. Went back to their village. But Nimai Pandit, he stayed in Navadvip, he didn't go anywhere. And he was sitting by the banks of the Ganges, and Keshava Kashmiri came by with his entourage. And he was riding on an elephant, and he had many people following him, all of his followers. They were all praising Keshava Kashmiri, that he's the great conqueror. He was a great devotee of Saraswati. Right? Saraswati Puja is a big event here in Bengal. All the students, they will worship the goddess Saraswati. So Keshava Kashmiri, he was a devotee worshipper of Saraswati, and he confronted Nimai Pandit, and he said, oh, Nimai Pandit, I hear you're also a teacher. You also have your students. And so we should debate. But Nimai was very humble, and he said, oh, I'm just a child compared to you. You're a great scholar. I don't know anything. I'm just a beginner. I'm just a neophyte in this. And Lord Chaitanya, Nimai Pandit, requested Keshava Kashmiri kindly compose some verses glorifying Mother Ganga. Because Nimai Pandit was right at the banks of the Ganga. He was sitting there with all of the students. You know, they didn't sit in a classroom. You know, they sat at the side of the Ganga. They sat on the ground on some rocks. And in this way they were studying and learning. Anyway, Nimai Pandit requested Keshava Kashmiri compose some verses glorifying Mother Ganga. And Keshava Kashmiri began to recite. And he was reciting verses just like the blowing wind. And he could recite verses spontaneously. You know, if you or I have to compose a poem, we have to think about it so carefully, and you have to write it, and then but Keshava Kashmiri had this intellect that he could compose poetry spontaneously, and he was speaking one verse after another, all glorifying Mother Ganges. 100 verses, Kavi Chandra Swami says. So, when he had finished, Nimai Pandit congratulated him. He said, oh, your poetry is very wonderful. Your poetry is so wonderful. But, he said, there's some faults in it. And Keshava Kashmiri was shocked. He said, what do you mean? There are no faults in my poetry. But Nimai Pandit told him, he said, no, there are faults. There's some good qualities, but there are also some faults. And Nimai Pandit then quoted one of the verses, maybe it was the 67th verse out of 100 verses. And he quoted the verse, he said, in this verse there are good qualities and there are also faults. Maybe kindly explain them to us. Keshava Kashmiri was shocked. He said, I recited these verses like the blowing wind. How could you remember one of them and repeat it to us again? How is it possible? Nimai Pandit said, well, by the grace of the Lord, you have the ability to recite verses somehow I had the ability to remember the verses. Right? Some people have that kind of memory. They just hear and they can remember everything. So Nimai Pandit quoted the verse and Keshava Kashmiri said, "What do you mean there are faults in it?" "No, it's perfect. My poetry has no faults." But then Nimai Pandit he analyzed the verses. He explained the faults in the verse, and then he went on to explain also the good qualities which were there within that verse. So Keshava Kashmiri was defeated, and Nimai Pandit's students, they were all laughing that Nimai has defeated this Digvijay. But Lord Chaitanya, Nimai Pandit told the students, no, you should not laugh. He is a great scholar. So Keshava Kashmiri went home that night and he was trying to understand how he could be defeated by a boy, just a young teenage boy. And he prayed to Mother Saraswati and he said, "Have I offended you somewhere? Did I commit some offense against you that this boy could defeat me today?" And Mother Saraswati spoke to Keshava Kashmiri and told him, "That boy, that is my Lord and Master. He is not the ordinary boy, but he is my own Lord and Master. He is our Supreme Lord." And Keshava Kashmiri could then understand the exalted position of Nimai Pandit. So the next morning he came back and he surrendered to Nimai Pandit. And Lord Chaitanya blessed him that he would be a devotee of the Supreme Lord. So Keshava Kashmiri then, he went on to, in the Nimbarka line, in the Nimbarka Sampradaya. Right? We accept the other Vaishnava lines, their philosophy, although there are some differences, but generally each of the four Sampradayas agree. There is one Supreme Lord, and the living entities are all the servants of the Supreme Lord. And Nimbarka line is especially similar to the Gaudiya Vaishnava because they are also worshipping Radha and Krishna, and they accept the position of the gopis. So in this way, here in this place, it was in this place that Nimbaditya met with the four Kumaras.
This Keshava Kashmiri, his debates were generally public and big events. But Lord Chaitanya met him privately and on the evening bath. He was such a debater that no one could even understand his questions. He would ask a question and nobody knew, they couldn't understand it even to try to answer. But after he went into Lord Chaitanya, then he gave up everything. He gave up all his entourage and all his wealth. He was very rich, and he became a simple Vaishnava sannyasi. And I think the one story we heard about this kind of debates, there was a big Digvijay like that, and he came to one village, and their debater was a very young boy. And so he challenged him, and the big crowd was there, and so they went on, and the boy was saying, you can ask the first. Somehow the boy could ask the first question. So he asked him, they were speaking Sanskrit, so none of the crowd could understand what they were saying. Hope we have some Bengali speakers here. You know me. So the boy asked him, how do you say I don't know in Bengali? So the guy was thinking, what a stupid question, you know, anybody can answer that. This is embarrassing me. But no, how do you say I don't know in Bengali? How do you say that?
Ami Janina.
Ami. So the Sanskrit guy, the big Sigby guy, finally just blurted out, Ami Janina. And then the boy said, just see, he doesn't know anything. He can't answer. And everybody booed him, and he had to slink his way out of town. So this debating, fighting, arguing, not a good idea. We want to worship the Gopis also and follow in their footsteps in Sankirtan.
So we see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defeated each of the other sampradayas. Here, we're hearing about the Nimbaka line, how Keshava Kashmiri, he was defeated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he came to Krishna consciousness. And then also we heard yesterday about Pushtimar, the Vishnu Swami. We heard about Vishnu Swami, how he, in the line from Lord Shiva, and how they were also connected to Krishna consciousness. Balabhacharya was often with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Balabhacharya, one time in Jagannath Puri, he was saying to the devotees, why should we chant the holy name of Krishna? He said, it's the duty of a chaste wife never to say the name of her husband. Right? Mother Sita never uttered the name of Lord Ram. So the same way, a chaste wife will never say the name of her husband. She will simply say, my Prabhu. Right? Yes, right. My Prabhu. So Balabhacharya was saying, why are we chanting? We are the Prakriti in relation to Krishna. We're feminine. He is the master. We're his Prakriti. How can we say his name? He's the Lord. And we are his servants. Why are we calling his name like this all the time? It's not chaste. So the devotee said, just wait. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will come soon. When he comes, he will answer your question. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived and the question was put to him. And Lord Chaitanya replied, it's the duty of a chaste wife to follow the order of her husband. Now Lord Krishna has ordered all of us to chant his holy name. Therefore we are chanting the holy name. So in this way Lord Chaitanya was, each of the sampradayas, other sampradayas, Lord Chaitanya was meeting with them and establishing the supremacy of the Gaudiya Vaishnava teaching. Later he went to Sri Rangam, and in Sri Rangam he stayed with Balabha Bhatta there, who was one of the priests in the Sri Rangam temple. And it was there they discussed also the philosophy of the Sri Sampradaya. In Sri Vaishnavism they worship Lakshmi along with Lord Narayan. They consider the supreme form of the Lord to be Lakshmi Narayan. And Krishna is an avatar in their philosophy. But Lord Chaitanya pointed out to them that why is Mother Lakshmi desiring to go to join the Rasa dance? Why did she go to Vrindavan and do austerities? She went to Vrindavan and she's still doing austerities. Usually Mother Lakshmi is giving blessings. The hands are up, but in Vrindavan she's praying. She's praying to all the Brajbasis, please bless me that I can also join the Rasa dance with Lord Krishna. But of course she cannot. Although she desired, she wanted to. She was told that this is not your position. You are the goddess of fortune. So she resides on the chest of the Lord, but she's not allowed to dance in the Rasa dance. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying like this, that Lakshmi is a chaste wife. Why does she want to join Rasa dance? Because Lord Krishna is supreme, superior to even Vishnu and Narayan. And so in this way, each and every place, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would establish the superiority of the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, the different sampradayas. And they're all united into one line. Mahaprabhu took the main teachings from each of the sampradayas and brought them into the Gaudiya Vaishnava line. Just like from Ramanuja, from the Sri Vaishnava line, he took the 2 points, which is service to the Vaishnavas, and the other point was devotional service, devoid of desire for mental speculation or fruitive activities. So those were the 2 main points from the Sri Sampradaya, which Mahaprabhu brought into the Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And from Madhvacharya, he took the 2 points about the complete defeatal of Mayavada philosophy. In South India, even today, the Madhva line, they operate Sanskrit colleges. And the boys who go there to learn Sanskrit, many of them, they'll begin from the age of 5, and they'll study up until about 22 or so. And they will be trained how to defeat Mayavada philosophy. Madhvacharya has very rigorously explained all the arguments to refute impersonal philosophy. And even today they're training the preachers to defeat Mayavada philosophy.
108 refutations. There's a book, you can find it online, 108 refutations of Mayavada, where he details what they say and then takes it apart. Jayapataka Maharaj produced a book, 108 refutations of Ritwik. Regarding the women only calling her husband Prabhu, the husband is also supposed to only call the woman Devi. It goes both ways. Yeah, if you know Sankarshan Prabhu and his wife, and they always use like Devi and Prabhu. My Prabhu and my Devi. So that means you keep, very humble position, both sides. Important.
And the other point which Madhvacharya also, which was also taken from the Madhva line by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was the worship of the deity, that it's eternal. Other people, they do Murti Puja. Murti Puja is not like deity worship. You go to an ordinary Hindu temple, they're just worshipping murtis. They don't do actual deity worship. They don't consider the deity to be a person, an eternal form of the Lord. So in Madhva line, they have that. They worship Udupi Krishna in that way. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu liked that. Those 2 points were taken from the mother line. The other one? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we're in Simanta Dweep. The process here in Simanta Dweep is Shravanam. And we're going to hear from His Holiness Nrsinga Swami Maharaj.
Om Jnana Tirandasya